I like dumb stuff. If you don't know, people get mad at that, but I can't help my brain. Wrestling still somehow seems to push the limits with that though, because my gosh, the ideas that have come our way over the years. You know what though? Even then, sometimes WWE does get it right. So I am Simon Miller. Here's the dumbest of dumb ways that were actually genius. Number 10, the Crybaby match. I mean, listen to the name. Doesn't exactly scream WrestleMania main event, does it? Back in the day, people tore lumps out of this thing too. They hated it. It was from 1996 in the In Your House 6 pay-per-view where, Razor Ramon defeated the 1-2-3 Kid, and as punishment for losing, the Kid got dressed up like a baby. Well, we just covered him in talcum powder, which apparently was the same. I went and watched this today though, and it's fine. The silly stuff only comes after the match is done, and the work itself is great. Of course it was. Scott Hall and Sean Waltman are excellent. What the critics ignore is that Kid had actually been acting like a brat before all this, so he had justification too, and ultimately he got his. I thought that's what wrestling was meant to be. I would understand more if they were in diapers or there was a dummy on a pole or something, but no. It was just some goofy aftermath to embarrass the bad guy. Again, that was his job. So you don't have to like it due to your own taste, but an all-out disaster? No way. Number 9, the shortest Royal Rumble ever. What is the worst Royal Rumble? Most people will say the greatest Royal Rumble ever from Saudi Arabia because of the name, or there's the one in 1995. There's more to talk about there. The reason it annoyed fans so much is because of the 60-second intervals, which meant it zoomed by. So it felt like you were on drugs. All you need to do is go look at the WWE roster in the mid-90s though, and they were screwed before entrant number 1. No disrespect to these guys, but Aldo Montoya was number 20 and Mantar was 21. Why build that up for an extra 60 seconds? You're actually more likely to get some hate. So it's actually something Vince McMahon should have used more as self-awareness actually came into play. And I tell you, that never happened. Shawn Michaels was the winner, which was the right move, so we just added in proper stars like Bret Hart, the British Bulldog, Lex Luger, and Owen Hart as and when it's necessary. So sure. In comparison, it's not that good, but for what the WWF had, they used it in the right way, and it deserves more credit. Number 8, Jackass at WrestleMania. I know this one is true because I saw it firsthand. When it became obvious that Sami Zayn would face Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania 38, however, there were face palms all around. People could not believe it. It began at the 2022 Royal Rumble when Johnny popped up as a surprise, so essentially this carried on for months. What happened? Sami Zayn proved he was an all-time performer and gave us utter joy in a wrestling ring. The rest of the Jackass crew added to the experience, and it is a genuine delight to watch. All the beats work and you'll laugh out loud when you should. It's the perfect evidence that wrestling should always be a variety show. Again, too, it is all the credit to Sami Zayn. Everybody played their part, but it's clear this was his brainchild. Dare I say it? It was a mini masterpiece. Number 7, the House of Horrors. The match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 33 did not work. We did some weird things with overhead projectors. Most of the fans were confused. It happens. It meant we got to Payback 2017 and WWE announced a House of Horrors match between the two. And nobody knew what to think, because what the flub was that? It was, however, full-on cinematic before the pandemic, which counted for something. Actually pretty good. It certainly wasn't the greatest of all time entry, but it definitely inspired WWE years later, and as ever, Bray just got it. He knew what to do to make these things interesting. It helped that it was a B pay-per-view, which WWE really wasn't taking seriously at the time. Jump forward to the future, and the company benefited from this template hugely. It made them realize what they could do when the world just stopped. The 6th, the greatest wrestling match ever. Even Adam Copeland has spoken about how mad this was. It's impossible to have the greatest wrestling match ever, because it all comes down to taste. Still, if we go to Backlash 2020, where once again WWE was suffering due to the pandemic, we took a recently returned Edge and Randy Orton, told them to go and rewrite the game. Good luck with that. Now, maybe somebody out there thinks they nailed the stipulation, but you can just forget about it. The match is very, very good, and reminded you that the Rated R superstar could still go after almost a decade away. WWE knew what they were doing too, as they needed to create that channel, which wasn't there because fans had vanished, and all the small touches we threw in were quite nice. The production team were allowed to go crazy. It's also one of the few bouts you can go back and watch now. I suppose elements of this helped the Thunderdome too. WWE borrowed a lot from here. What a crazy time. Number 5, the Custody of Dominic ladder match. So this was bonkers. But look, here we are in 2024 and we are still talking about it. SummerSlam 2005 did divide fans though, because how did this make any sense? Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio were fighting over custody of a real human boy. I'm not sure the courts are going to allow that. The fact that condoms use it today justifies it for me, but also listen to who is involved. Eddie and Rey. They couldn't have bad matches if they tried, so even though the stakes were ridiculous, they made it brilliant. If you like the OTT side of wrestling too, this had everything you need. It's a bit like Scott Hall and Sean Waltman. When you have workers this good, you don't have to worry about the rest, they will make it work. It's also really funny, so yeah, this is all good with me, and given what has happened over the last 20 years, it will give you some good damn memories. Number 4, the gimmick battle royale. So if you watch my content, this won't surprise you. It is, as far as I know, the last appearance of one Repo Man in the WWE. Bring him back. It was WrestleMania 17 too, when we decided to allow a group of legends to compete in a battle royal, and look, it's not the best thing you'll ever see, but it's pretty darn fun. Bobby the Brain Heenan is hilarious on commentary as he bemoans how slow the Iron Sheik is getting to the ring. Some of the entrants here. Duke the Dumpster Drozy, for example. He wasn't exactly a legacy talent. Actually, Duke had only been off TV for 5 years, because that's how fast the Attitude Era blew up. I'm not sure you need to do this at Mania again, but as an idea, yeah, it'll make you laugh, which should be the point. This is meant to be entertainment. You could even make it a Hall of Fame version, which would give some of the legends an extra payday. There's nothing wrong with that. And look, we do have 365 days worth of content to fill. There's no reason not to do it. Number 3, the Blindfold Match. Talk about a stipulation that can go in wildly different directions. Picking who is involved is really, really important. Now, the worst to some people is likely Jake Roberts versus Rick Martel from WrestleMania 7, which gets a good kicking these days. I do get it. But go and watch it now and remember what it's meant to be. I actually think it's quite enjoyable. After all, the pair are meant to be blind, so why would they have a 5-star classic? They quite clearly understand the assignment and ham it up, especially Rick. That dude is taking pratfalls like his life depended on it. The fans are into it as well, as Jake decides he's just going to try and find that DDT. And remember, everybody knew it was stupid. Just make sure you're in a similar mood. I think this is what wrestling is all about sometimes, just thinking outside the box and ensuring we all have a good time. This certainly tickled me, which is a terrible thing to say. So let's go do it again. Number 2, the dual Money in the Bank ladder match. So we do return to the pandemic, as WWE had to do everything different, which meant the men and women's Money in the Bank happened at the same time. Given it was more of a mini movie than a match, it worked as we even had cameos. Brother Love was in the 2021. So weird. This was also done like a video game, as you had to fight to the top of WWE HQ, but it did have another major upside. The concept didn't feel burned out by the end of the event, as we only had one singular match. Now, WWE actually balances this quite well today, but one year, if you could figure it out, I don't think this would be the worst idea. It would also up the stakes, as even though men and women are kept separate, it's still more bodies to get through. You could even take it a step further and have only one briefcase hanging from the rafters, meaning there's only one Money in the Bank holder for the entire year. That would send people nuts. So once again, it comes down to fun. Although Baron Corbin did literally kill people during this version, maybe don't do that bit again. Number 1, we'll see. So the reason you don't want to do this is because Hornswoggle and El Torito smashed it. Talk about taking what sounded like a stupid idea and turning it into a somewhat classic. It all comes down to how these guys approached it and the intensity they had, because you believe they wanted to win. That's half the wrestling battle. If they care, I can care. This went down at Extreme Rules 2014 and amazingly was on the pre-show. Everybody forgets that, but Swoggle and Torito saw it as an opportunity, and yeah, this was really good. Why not? They knew how to work. So I'm not saying trying to replicate this verbatim, but in terms of taking a fun gimmick and not turning it into a one-note joke, I mean, this is the template, and you're probably laughing at me now, but go and give it a chance. I promise you will be surprised. Know of any other dumb gimmicks that actually were quite good in practice? Please make sure you let us know in the comments below. Before you like the video, share the video and subscribe. And go fiddle with those mobile app notifications so you know when more videos are going live. There's another one on the screen right now that you can check out. But otherwise, my friends, I appreciate every single one of you. Maybe I'll just talk to you again very soon.